Since high school, drugs, alcohol, and criminal activity were always a common theme in my life. Seeking employment on the glamorous Las Vegas Strip as chefs was the goal. I met my wife, Deborah. She and I met in the restaurant, actually. We met at the Bellagio, where we both worked. We traveled, we were young, we were in love, and we grew closer and closer. But one common thread between us is that we like to party. As my career progressed, the demands of my career also progressed. The hours that I was required to work grew and grew and grew as the promotions came. It took a toll on my body, it took a toll on my mind, and I used the drugs and alcohol to escape even more. With my addiction spiraling out of control, it was only a matter of time until these prescription pain medications not only became too expensive, but were inadequate to the tolerance I had developed. It was about this time that I had tried heroin for the first time. But it became to a point where it was unhideable, and especially from Deborah. And I was trapped in this addiction. I was tired of being an addict, and I couldn't take any more of the pain that addiction brought with it. And one night, Deborah finally confronted me and asked me, was I using drugs? I couldn't hide anymore. I knew I had to be free of this, and the only way for me to do that was to do something that I hadn't done in a very, very long time, and that was to tell the truth. I ended up in a rehab center for about 90 days, and towards the end, Deborah was quite sure that she didn't want me to come back home. Luckily, I had a caseworker there who pleaded with Deborah on my behalf to allow me to return home. It wasn't an easy process, but finally Deborah agreed that she was going to allow me to come home under one condition, that we go to church. Sunday morning, I woke up and Googled Christian Church, Henderson, Nevada. First thing to pop up was Central Christian Church. Coming into Central, I wasn't sure what to expect. To be honest with you, I was terrified. I was expecting swift judgment from church people. I wasn't sure which I feared more, the judgment or the terrible church music. I didn't find either one of those things when I walked through the door. I found that the people who I feared actually accepted me. I felt immediately welcomed and immediately like I belonged here. So, as service began, there was a special guest that week who was telling his story about the changes that God had made in his life, and he was a former mob boss. So I figured that if God could use him and use Central to tell that story, that he could do the same for me. I got involved everywhere I could. Any group I could be in, I was there. Any service I could go to, I was there. I just kept coming back. As this time progressed, the relationship with my wife got better. Trust had begun to be rebuilt. Not just my wife, but everyone in my life saw changes in me. Upon finishing my first step study, naturally, I was baptized. I began serving in the church, which led me more into deepening my relationship with God. He began to speak more into my life and made my direction more clear as time progressed. It seems to me that I was always searching for a center, and I nearly always found it. Whether my center was drugs and alcohol, criminal activity, success and money, thankfully, my center eventually became Christ. And in that center, I found true success and true direction that Christ wanted me.